Is it on?
It's on.
Good evening, late evening. It's 8:30 here. We're in Mountain Time, so it's 10:30 on the East Coast at our house. But we're in Tremonton, Utah, or Tremonton, or however they say it. I don't know. But we're in Utah anyway.
Yes.
About 50 miles from Ogden, close to Salt Lake. And we're going on down farther in Utah tomorrow. We didn't do a video yesterday. We stayed in LeGrand, Oregon.
Yes.
And it stormed about all night. But we didn't do a video. And we don't have any pictures from today. I don't think.
I got
may
one.
Have one or two.
Yeah.
There just wasn't anything remarkable that we saw. Most of the driving today was in they call it the high desert. So it was a lot of sagebrush, a lot of short prairie grass, and a lot of burned areas that we drove through. Mm-hmm. One thing I was struck by was we were on Highway 84, or Interstate 84, and it parallels the same path roughly as the Oregon Trail. And I thought, because most of those folks walked from the eastern part of the United States, they either walked and had their wagon with their their stuff in it, whatever they could carry, and they walked during the day and slept in the wagon or under the wagon. And I wondered, what can possess somebody to walk across the darn country, not knowing, there was no internet, there was no TV, they didn't know what they were getting into, no pictures. So what would possess a family just to pack up and go? But I meant to Google how many people approximately traveled on the Oregon Trail, and I forgot. But anyway, that's just what I was wondering while we were traveling there. Those people were a lot tougher than we are today. Get off my history geek soapbox. We got some in our campground series. We're going to do the campgrounds today that we traveled in, or that we stayed in on the first leg of our trip, from the time we left the house until the time we got to Spokane.
Yes.
So the first campground was Shawnee Campground in, I think, Shawnee, Illinois. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that is right. Yes.
What I remember about it was but we didn't know any better. We stopped the rig where the hookups were, and the tow vehicles stuck out in the road. So I jumped out and unhooked everything. When we didn't mean to do that, we could have pulled down and up farther, and all of our stuff would have stretched. We could have stretched it out, but I didn't know any better. So that cost me. And then I remember when we tried to hook it up to tow the next day, it rained.
Yes.
It rained like a big dog. That's what I remember about that one. What do you remember, Mama?
Yeah. It was a cute campground. Nothing spectacular. The bathrooms were pretty clean. It was just one big bathroom. You had your potty there and everything. So it was nice. The owners, I'm assuming it was the owners, they were nice. It was nice. It was good for our first campground.
The site was level enough, and
yes.
And other than us me not knowing, you could extend the electrical. We've got another electric cord. You could do that and extend it, or you can extend the water. We've got 150 feet of water hose, and you don't have to hook up the sewer unless you're going to dump. And we didn't realize that. That's how I knew we were. So, but other than that, other than my mistakes, it was a good campground. The next one we stayed at was in Missouri, and the name of that one was what?
The Meadows Coffee Shop and Campground in New London, Missouri. Didn't like it.
No, I didn't care for that one either. Mm-hmm. And there was a coffee shop, adjacent to the campground, or I guess owned by the campground. And they opened it. I forget what time they opened, 7, 8. But I was there when they opened, and I tried to order breakfast. They didn't have anything ready. Mm-hmm. It seemed like the day before was a holiday, or the day before wasn't a holiday. They were closed the day before.
Yes.
And so when they said that, they didn't have anything ready because we were closed yesterday. We couldn't. So, but I got Henry a couple of sausage patties, and she just gave me 2 frozen sausage patties. Good thing that we had a microwave that we could warm him up in, or I just didn't like it at all.
No. The bathrooms were very primitive. Seemed like it was just kind of put together, and they were very small. So, nah, we didn't like that one.
We left there and we went to Albert Lee, Minnesota. Stayed at the Albert Lee KOA. That was our first KOA experience.
Yes.
And again, being new, we had built into our travel plans about every third day we would stay 2 nights in a row, give everybody a chance to rest up and recoup. And so we stayed 2 nights at this campground, and it was a KOA, and this is the first KOA that we stayed in, and it didn't live up to the cost.
No, the laundry room, we had to do laundry, and it was very tiny. There was like 2 washers, maybe 2 dryers, maybe 3. The bathrooms were okay, but we parked, and the sewer, where you would hook up for the sewer, was just full of water, I guess where it rained, and the mosquitoes were terrible there. So you couldn't sit outside or anything. So it was right in front of a cornfield, looked like to me. So that should have been our first clue with KOA, but it wasn't. So
if
there we are.
Yeah. If they had a dog area, we never found it. Me and
it.
Henry just walked over to in the field, or down there's a dirt road to get to the campground, so we'd walk down the dirt road and he could do his business. But they didn't have a dog area.
Mm-hmm.
We left there and went to Salem, South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
The name of that one was
Dakota Sunsets, and it was all right. I remember there being a ton of flies, though, for some reason. Again, I think because we were next to a field. And the showers were okay. I think they just had 1 shower, so you kind of tried to catch it when nobody else was in there. But it was pretty nice. I mean, it was clean. Let's just say it was clean.
Hopefully you catch it when nobody's in there, or else that'd be a little awkward. But,
yes, that's right.
we left there and went to one of Mama's favorite campgrounds.
Yes.
It was Custer Gulch in Custer, South Dakota.
Yes, it was very nice. The bathrooms were nice. That was the first bathroom that the shower that was bigger. That was nice. They were very clean. Our site was very clean, very well maintained, and it was a pretty place to stay. So we did like that.
We were sitting outside, and you could hear the coyotes howling up on the mountain or on the ridge above the campground, and there was a lot of history in the area. If like we said a couple times before on the channel, if we had known then, we would just plan to stay in one area for 4 or 5 nights, 6 nights, 7 nights, and explore around the area, and then move on to the next one instead of just moving. We had an ulterior motive this time, but we'll know better next time we go on a camping trip. But Custer Gulch was cool, and the little town of Custer is cool, and it's close to Jewel Cave National Park, Wind Cave National Park, Mount Rushmore National Monument, Deadwood, South Dakota. So there's a lot to see in that area, and we'll be back.
Yeah.
We left there and went to the Bighorn National Forest campground.
Yes.
That's one of the Bighorns are one of my favorite places in the world, and there were no hookups, and the site was unlevel, and we got hailed on. It was the first time we got caught in a hailstorm.
Yeah.
But it was one of my favorite places.
It was very pretty. No hookups, like Papa said, but it was very pretty, and it was very cold. That was our first experience with the cold, so it was pretty cold. But then you just go 30 miles into town, and you're warm. You're like at 90, so it was good.
Sorry, we've been sitting outside, and the mosquitoes have eaten us up. And my leg's itching, so I'm sorry about moving the camera. We left the Bighorns and went to Buffalo and stayed there for, I think, 5 nights for Longmire days.
Yeah.
And the name of that campground was
Indian Campground in Buffalo, Wyoming.
That's the longest we've ever stayed at a campground, and it's it's good in that you can can learn where you want to go eat, and you know where you are, and the washer or the laundry, and the you know the bathroom situations. But this campground was just a little above average, if you ask me.
The sites were very close together. I did not do laundry there. We went to the laundromat in Sheridan, which was very nice. And the showers were okay. It was kind of tiny. Just the kind of space, not just the shower itself, but the space where you had to kind of get ready. They had like folding doors, but they folded in. And it was kind of confusing. And I was like, okay, this is strange. And it didn't give you much room. So, I don't know, if we go back to Buffalo, when we go back, we'll just probably try to find a different, maybe campground or camp in Sheridan or something. We'll just see.
Sheridan is 30 minutes down the road,
yeah.
Maybe 30, 45 minutes. And they've got everything, a Walmart, laundromat, whatever you need, they've got it in Sheridan. We left there and went to Dillion, South Dakota, to Dillion, Montana.
Dillion, Montana.
And it's Southside RV, is that right?
Yes.
It was very nice.
Yes.
I enjoyed that stay. We stayed there 2 or 3 nights. I don't remember.
2 nights, I think.
2 nights.
2 nights. Yes. Very clean. That's the owners. We have formed a friendship, and they are very sweet. Very, very sweet people. I think she said that they were originally from California, but. They just work on that RV park, and it is immaculate. It's beautiful.
And even before we met them, they sent us a boatload of stuff in the mail at their own expense.
Yes.
You know, about the surrounding area and things to see and places to eat, and so they didn't have to do that.
No. Very super
If
people.
you're coming through southwestern Montana, I highly recommend Southside RV Park in Dillion.
Yes.
And we'll put a link in there in the description below to that campground.
Yes.
And we left there and we went to
Deer
Lodge, Montana, and stayed there 2 nights.
At the Indian Creek Campground.
Indian Creek Campground, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember a thing about that one.
It was right off the interstate.
It was at a truck stop nearly. It was right behind. You have to go over to a truck stop, and behind the truck stop, and there's the campground.
Yeah. The bathrooms were very nice, very clean, very modern. And we had the full hookups, and it was fine. It was a pretty level site, and I think that's where the wind started rocking the RV that we had first experienced. Yeah. So, but it was nice to stay there. And
we left there and drove through one of the most beautiful parts of the country that I've seen. Anything west of Missoula, Montana, is gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful.
So we drove through western Montana. Excuse me, the northern part of Idaho into Spokane, and we stayed at the
Liberty Lake RV Campground in Liberty Lake, Washington. And it's nice, concrete pads, and the bathrooms are nice. You have to have a code, for all the things, and they have a pool. We didn't check out the pool, but they have a pool, and we stayed there actually twice. We stayed there on the way up, and we just now stayed there on the way back down. So.
One of the best things about this campground is they have a huge enclosed, fenced-in dog area. So me and Henry would go around there, and I'd turn him loose, and he'd take off and go do his business, and I'd pick it up, which we'd become very close that way. And then we'd go back, but he enjoyed his time untethered, and so that counted for a lot. Tomorrow, that gets us up, through our time till we crossed over into Canada, and then when we get home, we'll do another video of the campgrounds from when we came back into the States, on into the house. Right. Tomorrow we're going to probably someplace near Gusher, Utah, and camping. That's where the shows, the Skinwalker Ranch and the Blind Frog Ranch are filmed. So we're going to see if we can't find a skinwalker or conjure up something. We've got our Ouija board up here. My mom doesn't know I brought it with us, but I've got a Ouija board. It's fixing to go out. We're not having that mess. I've got the Ouija board app. No, we ain't having that mess either. No, thank you. Got to find me a church or something. We're going to go down there and spend the night anyway and see if we see some UFOs or
in the Uinta Basin. Is
yeah.
that where it's at?
Yeah.
Uinta Basin.
or anything strange, and we'll report that in tomorrow's video.
Yes. Well, we did have something strange happen today. It's very strange. And Kevin and I both saw it, or didn't see it, I guess is probably the word. We're just trucking right along, and all of a sudden, I'm looking up ahead, you know, and I thought, okay, there's a motorcycle on the side of the road.
And I got over in the left lane because I was trying to get away from the motorcycle.
Yes, and the closer we got, there was no motorcycle. And Kevin said, Papa says, was there not a car there? And I said, I thought it was a motorcycle sitting there. And we said, wow. But I think what happened, it was going across like a little bridge, and how the sun was coming in and it was kind of reflecting out. But it was the strangest thing that we both thought that was a car or a motorcycle. So we don't know. It's already started.
Yeah, it was real enough that I was getting over
Yes.
so to be on the safe side.
Yes.
Before we forget, before we sign off, our granddaughter Emma had her first day of co-op homeschooling.
Yes.
And she did very well. Emma, when you watch this, Mama and Papa, we love you and we're very proud of you.
Yes.
And we know you're going to do great.
Yes, yes. And we love Fei Fei too. We're proud of Fei Fei.
Yes. She says, I'm Fei Fei.
I'm Fei Fei. She's so cute.
Right.
They're both so cute. We're just so proud of both of them.
Okay.
We just love them. We love Tyler and Shauna too now. We love y'all.
We
love
do.
Y'all.
Yep, we do. But I wanted to give that shout out to Emma on her first day of co-op.
Yes, yes.
We got anything else?
Nope, that's it. About time for bed.
All right. We'll check in tomorrow with any daytime skinwalker activity, and we hope we'll get something tomorrow night if we don't have anything during the day. Until then,
we'll see you down the road.